Good morning from Skift. It's Friday, May 15th in New York City. For daily updates in your inbox, subscribe to the Skift Daily newsletter at skift.com/daily. Brought to you by Remarkably Remote, a microcast from GoToMeeting, webinars to staff meetings, clients' calls, and virtual coffees. Listen to Remarkably Remote for tips on hosting meetings of all varieties. Head to gotomeeting.com/tips and listen in on how to make remote work. And now here's what you need to know about the business of travel today. Skift founder Rafat Ali takes a look at 20 hopeful signs of the travel economy opening up again. He says as our world expands again, bit by bit, we are relearning it all over again. Yes, there may be regression as we go along. We all have to be ready for that, but crawl forward we will from here until we start cruising. Then walk the first tentative steps. Well, you know the drill from here. The signs include Shanghai Disneyland opening up again and so-called travel bubbles emerging, like the one permitting travel between Australia and New Zealand, and Mexico's Los Cabos reopening in June. Even cruises, the most derided sector in travel during the crisis, is planning to sail some ships again in August. Staying on that theme, global tourism reporter Rosie Spinks looks at how destinations plan to market for potential summer tourists. After months of more or less going dark or telling people to stay home in various creative ways, tourism marketers find themselves with quite a task on their hands. Destinations need tourism dollars to make up for unprecedented losses, but tourists are rightly wary of where they will choose to go on vacation this summer, if at all. With all that in mind, a few strategies are emerging to convince travelers that they should venture out when the time is right. Perhaps the hardest sell so far comes from Sicily, which is luring visitors with cold, hard cash, Spinks writes. The regional government will be offering subsidized holidays, saying on its website that 75 million euros, $80 million, has been set aside for such vouchers. Finally, the pandemic is prompting chief executives across the globe to ponder all kinds of hypotheticals about the future performance of their businesses. Here's one laid out by Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings CEO Frank Del Rio on Thursday. 18 months without any revenue. Del Rio offered that worst-case scenario during his company's first-quarter earnings call, giving insight into the extent of the damage the 2-month global pause in cruising has had on the industry, writes tourism reporter Spinks. Total revenue fell 11% to $1.25 billion in the first quarter, which ended on March 31st, roughly 2 weeks after cruising was halted. The cruise line posted a net loss of $1.88 billion due to a combination of factors including canceled voyages, fuel loss, and a $1.6 billion non-cash impairment. Since the company's last earnings call, Norwegian has laid up its entire fleet, repatriated over half of its 28,000 crew members, and significantly pared back operating and capital expenditures. Del Rio said these actions will enable us to weather the unlikely scenario of over 18 months in a zero-revenue environment and still have enough liquidity to relaunch operations when conditions allow. For more details, head to skift.com. To find these stories and more insight into the business of travel, subscribe to the Skift Daily newsletter at skift.com/daily.